Okay, we're back live. Facebook, in its infinite wisdom, decided to log me out of my accounts, thinking that somebody had intruded upon them, so it kicked us off the broadcast. But we're back on. Coach right now is in here at the grill. Remember, if you ever want to come and get, you can now dine in, or you can take carry out from Mesquite Wood Fired Grill. Delicious burgers. My favorite, I get chicken breasts with mushrooms and green chili on time with vegetables. So those of you that are a little health conscious, there's great menu items here. It's cooked over mesquite wood. So remember to come and support the grill on San Mateo here on 3300 San Mateo Boulevard. It used to be the old Savers parking lot, but we're sort of tucked in here in the corner here, but don't hesitate to come in. Go online, call them. They do a great job with food. Coach right now is talking to Diego Sanchez, so we plan on bringing him here in the studio. We can talk a little bit about him, and he can talk about some of the things that are taking place now in the UFC. But we can also talk about athletes' role in society and what they can do. Okay, give me 1 second here. No, we're back on. I was able to get past their security protocols.
What was it they kicked us off for?
Facebook thought that my account got hacked or something like that. So I'm gonna have to look through my posts. Make sure there wasn't any posts or messages sent from it. But I was trying, and I'm trying to get on right now because we want in one of our posts. Sonny, we want him to come on and talk to us because he was real integral in us switching over to StreamYard so that we can make our show look a lot better. You can integrate now, and we can show images, we can show video. So we're trying to take ourselves to another level. So Sonny's been helping us with that. So I'm gonna go ahead and send him the link.
Sonny Clark. Yeah, send him the link. Sonny's my boy.
Yeah.
You know.
So Sonny, hopefully you're still listening. If not, I'm gonna send you here the link.
Diego's gonna come on.
Oh, nice. And let me get your camera back going, Coach. So there you are. You're back on the air.
We're back on the air. Social significance, man. I was never one to really talk about it. Always, unfortunately, just would turn my head, and when you're Native American, that's how you are.
Yeah.
And so I think, like you said, everybody love everybody.
Mm-hmm. Well, the world can be.
What did he say? What did he say? ELE?
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 Yeah, he yells it 2 different times in the movie. They're in the locker room, and then they're arguing with each other on the bus, and he yells around. He turns around, and he's like, everybody love everybody.
ELE. ELE. So...
the world will be...
Are we going to live stream Sonny in?
I sent him the link. He hasn't clicked on yet, so...
Because we can Bluetooth him in, too, if he doesn't want to... If he...
He can always log in, and he saw the message. He can always log in without the video if he doesn't want to go on the video. He just doesn't have to click and the micro. He can just turn on the microphone and leave the video off if he wants to.
I'm talking to him now. And so Sonny is.
Okay, there he is.
He's got his CIF background on.
Hey man, I'm with the.
It's the diva Sonny Clark. I once said on live TV, someone asked me, something about being a diva, and I went, the biggest diva I know is Sonny Clark down there in Dallas, and you got a kick out of that. So is he still with us? Can you hear us,
yeah.
Sonny?
Can you hear us, Sonny?
Sonny Clark. He's trying to get his audio, up and
Yeah, we
I
can.
can hear you.
Cool. Hi, guys.
We have the legendary Sonny Clark. Sonny, share this on your Facebook page too, so your fan base can see you out there. They can see how handsome you've gotten. It looks like COVID is it's hasn't taken its toll. You look like you've dropped a few pounds. The fear, especially for me, is being locked up for 3 months, which is you and your refrigerator. Is dangerous.
Yeah. 7 snack times a day.
You know what I'm saying? And even to the point, I live across the street from a supermarket, and the supermarket stays open till midnight. So if it's 10:30 around and I have a taste for some, I just go across the street.
Haagen-Dazs.
So it's been very dangerous. Sonny, how you doing, my friend?
Well, I'm doing all right. I'm doing as good as I can, I guess, considering the announcement today for champion indoor football earlier today when I had about the 2020 season and started working for the 2021 season.
Well, here's a little tip, Sonny. Everyone knew you weren't having a 2020 season. The only ones that didn't know it were you people over at the CIF.
We were trying.
You were
what we were
crossing
doing.
those fingers.
Yes.
You were saying your prayers, and delaying the inevitable.
Yeah, we're working trying to really, hopefully, be able to bring something to the fans. I mean, the work that we do throughout the off season, and then get ready to go and just putting it where it's at. There's no season. It just really just kind of bums me out. Probably.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. I think we've talked about it in the past, but let's say that, I'm, slightly concerned that indoor football might be hurt by this, by COVID. Is it, even when it does come back, people are going to be tight with their wallets because, financially, are people going to be able to find money, to have money to go to the games, to buy 2, 3, 4 tickets? I'm concerned about the owners in indoor football. Are they going to be able to sustain the lack of revenue for a year? I'm concerned. I love indoor football. You know that. You and I are both lovers of indoor football, and so.
I think more importantly, Coach, if you think about it, I think we get things. I think that's probably adjusting with ticket prices and stuff. But I think one of the biggest things is that having your sponsors and them having the money to be involved with your football. I think that's the big one. I mean, I think they'll come. But I think what we got to worry about is whether or not the small businesses are able to jump back in, or whatever the situation is, or how much they can put towards the sponsorship. I think are going to be the biggest questions to ask as we move into 2021.
We've got the great Nate Davis watching right now.
Hey!
So, at what point did you guys say, hey, man, it's time, let's go? Did it have to do that? It's June 9th, for crying out loud? And
I think it's the fact that we couldn't get 16 teams in, Coach. I think that's what it is. When we figured out that some of the locations were not going to be able to be up to snuff with maybe attendance, how they will do it in attendance. What do they do in order to clean the place and get it ready to go? All those things are factoring in reality. And I think when they really looked at it, realizing that they can only get a certain amount of number into a stadium, it's just hardly worth it to open up the door in reality too. And so there's a lot of hard realities that I had to realize whether or not we would be able to put forward.
What about the future, Sonny? How does the future look? What's the future plans? Do you just go like, the one thing is I could still say that, I'm still a two-time defending head coach,
There you go.
the current two-time defending head coach champion. So it's given me another year to enjoy being the back-to-back championship coach of our team here in Albuquerque. As the league moves forward, what are you encouraged about? What do you look forward to?
Well, I always look forward to expansion. Now, granted, we have one team come along. We have actually got 4, serious people that want to jump in. But when you look at 2021, coach, in reality, you got to start working now. If you're not working now for 2021, you're not going to be ready. I mean, they can't get together like you guys did, got ready to rock and roll and do it. And when your first year came across, I'm sure you guys lost your stories. Now, since there's enough time to get ready to move forward to 2021 season, it's time to start working toward all the goals that you need to set in order to make sure that the goals towards your goals.
Is his audio breaking up?
Yeah, but I think it's just because it's over the internet connection. But
I think it's. Well, I don't know if it's throw me out of it, and I'll fix it. I think it's me.
Okay, so I'll kick you, and then you'll do the link again.
I'll give you a thumbs up. Just kick me out of the pit.
Okay.
Well, we're trying all new things here on the show.
Yep.
And they're exciting things on the show.
Just unfortunately, there's a difficult learning curve too.
No doubt. And listen,
So bear
it's
with
Chinese
us.
to me, so if
Bear
you
with
weren't here, I'd be talking to myself,
Yeah.
on that camera right there. And so, but it's the CIF announcing. I don't know if you knew that. The
No, I
CIF
didn't.
announced that.
Pull the plug on their season.
Yeah, they're pulling the plug, and they're probably the last league to
Okay.
announce that. The IFL announced it.
Is this better, guys?
Months ago.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, a little
so-
better. Yeah. Oh, you're going through your microphone system.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah. No, that's a lot better. There we go.
Yeah. So,
Now,
mics.
you have one of the top podcasts around, The Couch Potato. Which I still haven't been invited on. The
Yeah,
Couch
you're old.
Potato.
You tell me when you come on out to the invite.
And so, how's wrestling going, my friend?
Actually, that's pretty good. Looks like we're going to have an event later on June 23rd, where in our wrestling, we're going to have a junior heavyweight championship tournament. And then on July, we're going to have our championship tournament. Crown New Jersey.
I didn't get those dates. Did you get those dates?
No, I didn't. If you'll post those things in the comments, and then we'll put them in our link. So, and then give us any relative links, and we'll put them on for our show, so we can advertise them to our followers. Yeah, anytime like that, you want to promote things, just send it to our Facebook group and put it up on our wall. So, and that's the whole point of this empowerment network, is to create a network to to get the word out and to help these different organizations. Okay.
Definitely a small we are as well. So that's kind of for what we do. All right, now hold on a second.
Gotcha. Yeah, and thank you again for your help of us. We're switching over to this StreamYard service, and your help has been immense. Yeah, no, that's been really cool, and we're still growing through growing pains. I literally come in, I'm like, okay, I know how to do this, and then it doesn't work, and I'm like, dang it. and I just beat myself up, and I go, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make it work. It's just like anything we talk about, Coach. You fail, and you dust yourself off, and you get back up and keep trying. So.
All right. I think I got it right.
Yeah, I think I had gone up volume levels.
Maybe not.
Yeah, no, you're good. Yeah, I know.
There's not a mic that's ever been invented that can keep Sonny Clark quiet. There's not a mic that's been invented.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh.
that's how I met Sonny Clark. Sonny Clark was the play-by-play announcer of the Texas Revolution, and
He hated me.
Sonny was known when his team scored. He was like that soccer guy that yelled out "Goal!"
Yeah.
like and
Also, you had a great catch, a Champ Kynes catchphrase, whammy.
and he would, when his team scored, and one of the things that we did was we watched both films. We watched the huddle film, and then we watched the TV
Live
film.
broadcast. I do that too. So.
And we would have to turn the volume down. Because, you know,
That's how he knows he's doing a good job.
I would tell our teams when Sonny was the play-by-play, let's really help our fans back at home. Let's shut this guy up. You know, he had such a passionate call. You know, Sonny, how many complaints did you get for that call from around the league?
Weekly. That's when I know I was doing it good. But the funny thing is that Texas Revolution fans really loved it. I think it's because they kind of felt like I was rubbing it in their face, but that's not really what the case was.
Hey, I love it. I love a hometown official, you know, or a hometown caller. You know, one of the things that I used to tell, you know, Sebastian was, you know, and Adam, which was, hey, man, we're the hometown team. This is not an ESPN game where you're getting, you know,
Where you have to be impartial.
two you know, different fan bases. Our fan base, you know, be a homer. I love
right.
homers, and I love homers from Sonny Clark.
Yeah. Well, and the funny thing about that is I would call it the way I see it too. If there are bad plays by our team, I tell them they stink. I heard about that too. But so that was probably what I did.
Sonny, we're seeing trying times nowadays. The last 2 weeks, what have you seen down in Dallas? You know, where you're located, on what's going on? How's it going on down there? And what do you think is, you know, do you have something to say about what's happening?
I don't have a lot to say, except for the fact that it's about time. Things finally being heard from people who feel like they need to be heard. It's kind of depressing. It's kind of depressing to see what's been going on. But more than the fact that I'm glad that people are getting the opportunity to be heard. I'm sad about some of the destruction that has happened, but at the same time, you know, this has been going on for years and years, decades. Before anybody's being hurt. I'm 52 years old, or 53, sorry. And this crap's been going on since I was born. And nothing has changed with how do you say, with any kind of progression to where people are going to look at each other and say, I don't see a black person. I don't see an Indian. I just see a person. I don't know if we're getting to that point, but hopefully we'll closer.
It is trying times, but I think it's people like us that are in the sports world that you know, social calling out social injustice or speaking about it. You know, we had posted something in an earlier feed that a head coach here in Albuquerque got just a terrible message, a racist message, and
I saw that.
we wanted to call it out and let you know, people know that this is not acceptable. I think it's different this time, Sonny. I'm hoping it's different. It just, to me, it has a different feel of what's going on. More athletes than ever are speaking out.
Yeah.
You know, more athletes are demanding other athletes speak out. You know, in the past, LeBron has really wanted athletes to speak out and call them out on the carpet. I don't know if he's really had to do that this time, because athletes are really, you know, doing their part, and they're calling out. Like, for example, we've read coaches who are being called out for issues 3 and 4 years ago.
Yes.
It just has a feel. Now, the only thing is, can we follow up on it?
Well, I have a feeling that Roger Goodell and the NFL. I don't know how much I believe them. I don't know how sincere they are. Because I am a believer that if this was really an issue they want to tackle, they would have done something long before this. The only reason why I think they are coming out to where they are now is I think that they're feeling pressure that the gate is going to get hurt if they don't do anything. And I don't think it's sincere. I think it's about the bottom line when it comes to, because he read that thing he did. And he read that he got that from the players because the players wanted to hear him say it. More so than finding his own words and doing it on his own time. So I think he was forced into it, and I think that the owners of the NFL are really expecting him to fall on the sword, because I think this is a team owner thing. I don't see how sensitive the whole situation is. I'm sorry to be a pessimist, but the NFL doesn't tackle anything until it's in their face and it's going to cost them money, a lot of money.
Well, I mean, they do call it the No Fun League. And,
Yep.
You know, Roger Goodell didn't have to say anything. I think any movement is important, you know, and I thought that was a very important statement regarding that, especially, you know, if you can imagine, you know, a couple of years ago when the president's coming out against what Colin Kaepernick and what other NFL players were protesting, and you know, Goodell felt like it was a political football. I don't think he could feel that way anymore. I think when you have like yeah, you're worried about your TV ratings. You're worried about your sponsors, as you know, as a person who's with a league, you do worry about those things. But I think what they found out was, you know, when the president came out against them, they didn't get hurt that much, the NFL.
Right.
You know, some jerseys got burned, but they lost 0 in the ratings. 0. And so when they saw that, because let's face it, it's a concessions league. Even in the NFL, it's a concessions league, which means it's about making money. And when you're paying players that what they're getting paid, it's, you know, you want to make sure from a PR point of view that you don't hurt that. I think the NFL found out it didn't hurt it. You know, because in reality, they weren't protesting the flag. Their goal wasn't to disrespect the flag. Colin Kaepernick got the idea from a Marine.
Yeah, from a veteran, yeah.
You know, and said that that's what we do when we show respect to the flag. We kneel in front of it. And so, I mean, I think times are different. I'm hoping they're different, Sonny. I'm hoping they're different.
I am too. And I think that if the right people in the position to actually do it, that it won't just go over years. You know, because what happens whenever the NFL gets behind anything besides October, they'll push it for a year and forget about it, and then put it back on the burner.
They have that kind of influence, that's for sure.
That's true.
And I think, like, for example, where we have the example is like what happened with Drew Brees. You know, anybody that knows Drew Brees or you know, knows the type of person that he is. And, you know, he came out and, you know, didn't address the issue at hand, and kind of, you know, brought up some hard feelings from a couple of years ago, and he got crucified for it.
Right.
Like crucified, you know. And so I think that, you know, did he deserve to get hammered the way he's? No, I don't think so. But the point is, he got times are different now.
Yep.
You know, times are different, and so where does that from the athletes, say, in your league, where does the league stand? And maybe I don't, you know, this is not in your jurisdiction. Where does the league stand with the times now?
I
Have you guys talked about that?
We have talked about it, and something that we are aware of, and we haven't come up with an idea of how that we're going to do based upon what we're going to do from the players, because this is going to be a big player in reality. And I will tell you that I think we got to hear from the players. We have to hear what their ideas are, and once we figure that part out, I think we'll be okay, and then we'll come up with something. But yes, we've talked about it. It's definitely right in your face.
So your league markets are aware, and you've had discussions about it.
Well, you know what our we have Amarillo. We also have I got a message. I'm sorry. We have Amarillo. We have East Texas, or I'm sorry, West Texas, Oklahoma. We have Sioux City, Salina, and Omaha. That's seven, right? Wichita. Yeah, so we have 7 locations, and we're all very aware of what's going on, and that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be talking to some of the players and figuring what we can do legally different, because this is going to probably show up in games next year. How it rolls through 2021. I just kind of don't know where it's going to be at that time, but I think we do have to do something to address it.
And especially because the athletes, we got great athletes in that league. You've got great, the athletes that are very opinionated, and so you guys aren't against them giving their opinion.
It would be. I don't have a problem with anybody expressing their opinion. I don't think the league does either. Being responsible, that's this is what they're feeling. You can't take that away from them. And if you're able to, it gets in reality. We don't have a desire to take people's feelings about racial injustice. That's not going to help us as a league. And it also shows all players that we don't care about them. And that's just not the case, especially with what we're trying to do. Our league needs to put ourselves together to be strong. And the players have a lot to do with that, especially with this issue.
How you doing with COVID, my friend? You staying safe out there? Because I believe your state is open, right?
It's partially open. There are a lot of businesses that are still closed. There's a lot of businesses that are picking up on Verbo. Best Buy. I had some memory from it. I couldn't go in, and I picked it up at the pull-up thing. So it's open, but it's not. It's not back anywhere close to normal in reality. I'll give you an example. I work we can't have more than 4 customers in the store at one time. So we're not fully back to it. We're in the process of opening. But right now, I'll give you an example. My daughter's graduation, it's Friday. They're opening up an stadium, open air stadium. They're gonna do it, but they're also going to do it with social distancing over at Globe Lighting. So it'll be interesting. I'm actually really interested to see how they do it.
How are they going to do? What are they talking about? What do you expect? I mean, part of the excitement of the genre of wrestling is the fans,
right?
Because they're so part of it. What are they talking about on how to do that?
Well, I'll give you an example. What we're doing. on June 27th or 28th, whatever that Saturday is. We're only allowed to have 50 fans. Literally only 50 fans. So with us restarting the promotion back up, we only get 50 fans on that one in June. In July it's supposed to open up any more. Should be about 100 where we are going to have promotion. We have it at Dallas South Front. So as soon as probably the end of July, we'll probably be up to about 250. And then about where we are for our. But as far as big promotion wrestling, they are opening up the Texas area at 50% of what the stadium can hold with masks, with some kind of social distancing like that.
So what that means is you, Sonny Clark, are going to have to provide the excitement.
I do it all the time. I do it all the time. It's crazy. And I take my football call and a wrestling call, which wasn't nothing big. nothing different for me.
No doubt. You know, what is the thing, Sonny, that you do best? I mean, what is the passion that you do? I know you love being a part of the CIF. I know you love calling high school football games. I know you love calling wrestling matches. What is it that you love the best, Sonny?
My favorite is high school basketball.
High school basketball?
Yes. High school basketball. You don't get time to think, especially in high school basketball. You're talking about only there's only so much you can think about because that ball is going up and down quick. You don't have time to think. So you just have time to know your stuff. And I played the game. Wasn't great, but I played the game. But and I enjoy basketball, and then I enjoy indoor football, and then high school football. That's my order.
Indoor football before wrestling?
Yeah, wrestling number 4. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay, that surprises me.
Yep.
You know, we did a show a couple of weeks ago, Sonny, all-time great gladiators. You know, Stars Gladiators. You know, when we entered the league, we were Stars and converted to the Gladiators.
Yes.
Who are some of your favorite players looking back? Who are some of your favorite players that you have come across, you know, via broadcasting or a fan of the game?
Being a fan of the game and broadcast. Jesus, Jason Serta.
Okay.
The guy's stuff. I mean, and the lack of respect that we have for the league from whether it's voting or whatever that kid did, because the fact of the matter is, I don't know anybody on the defensive side that was better than him. He was awesome. He was able to make plays. He quick the ball, which is first position. Not to know where the ball comes up. And when I watched Jason Serta play, it reminded me of some of the better players that have position in history based upon the level. It's one of the best I've ever seen. So I look at him. Jason Serta is one of my favorite. And then when you obviously you're looking at your wide receiver, but really,
it just doesn't have to be gladiators. I'm talking about who have you seen in the league over your years that are your favorites?
Wow.
It could be Texans, it could be Kansans, it could be, you know. Jason Serta is great to start over because you couldn't get a harder worker. I mean, he doesn't say boo, doesn't say 2 words at practice. You don't even know he's there until you hear the crackling of his shoulder pads.
Well, as far as the whole league, from what I've seen indoor football, is some of my favorite receivers. But I got to say, the Texas Revolution and the IFL. Luke Ricardo was a receiver for the Allen Red. The first year we started calling, and that was the first year that we saw Terrell Owens. But Luke Ricardo was one of my favorite players because he can adjust the ball in the air better than anybody. Where the defense is, and he'd step right in front of the defender, going for the ball, forgetting about his wide receiver. Luke Ricardo is great. So I really enjoyed him. And you say whatever you want. McKinder Carper is the definition of a step-back corner in this league. He is and people believe I have said this. I'll tell him I said it. He is the best corner in our league. Without question.
Absolute stud. Send that link to him.
Without question.
Yes, an absolute stud.
Yeah.
Absolute stud. You know, and it was great competing against him over the years.
Absolutely. And watching him continue what he's doing. Also coaching. I think he's coaching at a college as well. And we see where he, where it is. But I think Carter, first in my mind, and we were even talking about Gladiators, but he would be up there. And Luke Ricardo.
Yeah.
He didn't get all the yards, but he made the play.
I would say, for me, Nate Davis would be at the top of that list because he was such a competitor. He would match Jason Serta's competitiveness. But, one of the things that I would love about Nate was I don't care what the score was. They were never out of the game with him.
And he felt that way too.
Yeah.
I'm sure he does.
They were never out of the game with him to the point where we had some games over the years that weren't even fun by the end of the game. They were so draining and those were games that, you would survive. I think we had like a 5 overtime game one time with them or a 6 overtime game with them.
I remember that.
Where, I was going, okay, we got a long trip back. And let's just get this game over with. But he was such an ultra competitor, and obviously, you knew when it was Amarillo week here in Albuquerque that Nate Davis.
Yep.
There were times where they weren't a very good football team, talent-wise or anything, and we took them as deadly serious because of 2 words, Nate Davis.
Right.
And one of the things like Robert Kent, I loved Robert Kent, your guy down there, and the guts that he showed, in this last championship game that you were there.
Yep.
He tore his ACL in the second quarter and didn't miss a snap. There's so many great players. You guys had some studs down there in Dallas, man.
Well, remember where we were at. Texas. That's where the talent is.
No doubt, but we did a pretty good job messing with Texas. That's for
absolutely.
Sure. I mean, it was. I look back on the last 6-7 years and look at the wars that. Matt Moss. How about that? I like to say the great Matt Moss.
Yeah.
Like to say.
I'm glad he got the right.
The great Matt Moss from the Duke City Gladiators. Matt Moss, probably, you're absolutely correct, of players that I coached, and there's been a lot of them, Matt Moss is right at the top of my favorites.
One of the nicest guys I've ever met.
I felt cheated that I only got to coach him for 1 year. I felt cheated. And that's what really makes coaching, the great profession that it is when you get to coach guys that you just love to coach, and they love taking coaching. And Matt Moss was everything everybody said he was. I mean, just never a problem, never, he came into here and, literally had no clue how hard we worked. And he would tell me, he said, Coach, I haven't worked this hard since A&M. Since A&M, I haven't worked this hard. And he never missed a rep. He never complained. He never. We took this. If there was a Hall of Fame for arena football, indoor football, Matt Moss would be in it. He never. All he did was go to work. And
every play, every down.
And it showed in his play.
Absolutely.
And he's one of the players that I genuinely miss. I genuinely miss. Him and I would periodically sit down and have a cigar together and share a cigar. And so, but down by you guys had some tough players over the years, man. Some tough players.
And guys that wouldn't step away from the game, coach. You think about it. Darius Fudge. That guy. He stayed in Dallas for 6 years and came from Wichita. Guys everywhere have made an impact on the game, especially in champions that are great. The kicker from Amarillo. Same slip in my mind.
Felton.
That guy was
a weapon.
A superstar.
A weapon.
Telling you. There's not better kicker in 5 years in that league. They're that good. He is that good. Gosh, it just can't really see. I just can't remember that. I got all their names, and I got a big list of. But there's a different players out of Sioux City that was outstanding.
You know, I in my years in the league, I only saw Sioux City once, and that was the 2018 championship. But
right.
You know, I can tell you the thing that I loved about going up against Sioux City was going up against Irv.
Absolutely.
Coaching against Irv, who was, I like to consider like me, a bigger guy, not the most handsome like me, but can coach his ass off. You know what I'm saying? Like watching.
You're even better looking. You got 35 pounds, haven't you?
You put their film on and you just see they knew his staff. They knew what they were doing.
Absolutely.
And that's another thing that I loved about the league. Going up against, say, Julian, the number of times we went up against Julian.
Julian Reese.
Going up against him was always a challenge with him and his fancy red shoes. And God, I hated going to Amarillo for a number of reasons. But watching Julian's video year in and year out, about him, let's get up, oh my God, I despised it. I know it's the truth, I think. But there were some great coaches in the league.
Absolutely.
From Paco Martinez, man. How good was Paco, the number
Paco
in
was great.
the league?
Work that he did with the Force. I don't know what the story about the breakup up there, but Paco was a good coach. And very knowledgeable. I get weekly about things that didn't happen in the game. Very aware of what was going on in the field.
Yeah, and I love Vic Mann going up against the Vic Mann team. Vic was a great coach in this league, and so the quarterbacks in this league were always. From the Rocky Hines to the Robert Kents to the, just Nate Davis's, this league, you went in against a franchise quarterback every week.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Donovan, he was MVP for us in 17. He was the MVP. Brian Randall was a quarterback for us in 16. And so we the talent in this league was, phenomenal. The talent in this league. How about some of the great receivers in this league? Obviously you mentioned the great, and I always say this another one, the great Dello Davis. Mm-hmm. You can't just say Dello Davis. You got to say the great Dello Davis. To Cedric Johnson. Remember James Cleveland? We had James
absolutely.
Here.
Let me tell you something. I got that video. I got that video. I'm going over the sidewalls for now. It was I'm not just saying this because you're here, coach. It was the best coach. Best indoor football I've ever seen.
Right.
Ever seen. And that's because I had a direct line to Rodgers. You don't go outside the wall. You don't get it. You just hope they got it. I was right there. I see exactly what was going on. One of the best catches I've ever seen in indoor football. And I tried to get him the video on social media where I didn't give it to him. So I post that every once in a while.
I'm going to put you on the spot in your years there. Best quarterback that comes right to mind right now. Comes right to forefront. Best quarterback.
What that comes out of Texas?
No, anyone in the league. Who's the best quarterback you've seen in the league? And they could be from Texas.
I would have to say because of his consistency.
Who?
Robert Kent. I don't say that because of his consistency.
Okay.
I'll give you an example of that. He was a badass in Texas, without question. When he went over to Europe, he wasn't as badass as he was in Texas. But the fact of the matter is, he needed a game. He didn't need to throw for 250 to 260 yards a game to win the game. And that's why you just got to know that's in football. He didn't have to be the best quarterback on the field for you. He was so damn good. If he didn't show up for a game, he usually still got the game. And he knew what he had to do in order to win that game. If he was not up to par, I think he was a very good recognizer of what he had to do for a certain game.
Right. This league, even though it's indoor football, no one had some great backs in this league. Who's the best back that you've seen in the league that you can recall?
Carper. Without much question. I mean,
running back.
Oh, running back. That one's tough because one year it'd be something. One year it'd be another.
You guys had some phenomenal running backs down
Yes,
there.
we did. Eric was one of them. And that one out of Melbourne.
Dyer.
His name's slipping my mind.
Dyer.
Yeah. Michael Dyer. That guy ran with an attitude. I mean, it's not that guy was a running back. That guy was running me. And bring him down. We weren't just going to push him down and bring him. That guy was one stop. I was in the back, and I was talking to some of the players, and I forgot. I had a bruise on my arm for reasons. The guy was a muscle, just a muscle.
Yeah.
And kid too.
You had a couple of backs there on that team with Dyer that, got our attention, but the best back that I saw in my years in the league, I'm going to say was going to claim ours, Romello Brown, the last one that we just finished with. Romello Brown was a star.
Yep.
Was a stud, Romello, and his work ethic and his attitude and everything about him. Just what a pleasure to coach that young man. Receivers now. You've seen some phenomenal, awesome receivers. That position has been represented. We've had receivers that, been in the league. I'm going to put you on the spot and say, okay, who's your favorite receiver that you've...
Raymond Johnson.
Okay. Yeah, Raymond. You just mentioned that name, and all of a sudden I start getting, like shivers. Him and Nate. Raymond Johnson and Nate Davis.
Yep,
my God.
Game changer. And when you have Nate Davis, I mean, geez, I should have been on for a long time. But having the connection, they knew where they were going to be. And half the time, Nate Davis shot the ball up. Raymond Johnson had to figure out where it is, what to do. This that guy was unbelievable.
Right.
So yeah, Raymond Johnson.
Best back linebacker.
If it's not Jason.
Well, it could be Jason if he's the best you've ever seen.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's. I think. I should run around.
And I'll be honest with you, we did it by accident. It was for one game. Our Mike linebacker had gotten hurt, and I wanted to take a page from Paco. Paco had converted that tall safety to Mac. I forget what this kid's name was, but he was a stud.
I know what you're talking about. I can't remember his name.
Right, and he was a stud, and we got an injury hurt, and I went to Jason saying, hey, and it was ironic because the first game that we had him was against the Wichita Force. So it was literally against the kid that we took this idea from. And Jason was reluctant. He didn't want to do it. He wanted someone else to go, but, you know, he didn't get a choice. And when I tell you after the game, Paco came up to me and said, I have never in indoor football seen a defensive player take over a game like that.
Absolutely.
I've never seen it. And from that Mac position, Jason Serta would take over games defensively.
Absolutely.
Now it didn't hurt him to have the phenomenal defensive lines that we had.
Yeah.
You know, it didn't hurt, but he was something special. That's for sure.
And
obviously, you know, Big Harp is the guy you think is the best on the back end that you've seen.
Say that again.
Harper was the on the back end was the best you've ever seen. Harper,
yeah.
Yeah. You know, he was tough to deal with physically.
That is the definition of a shutdown corner in this league.
Yep.
And let's even put it this way: if he was playing in the IFL, those boys couldn't handle him. That's how good he is.
Yeah.
Whether it's the IFL or the IF, he played many years in the IFL. Many years in the IFL.
Yeah. And from your defensive line point of view, who was
I like Brett Bowers. I like the Brett Bowers.
Yeah.
And the motor he has.
Yeah.
Way he gets the quarterbacks, and he doesn't always get that. Always about getting the quarterback, adjusting the quarterback. He was going to do, and he didn't always have to.
Yeah. The kid from Salina, oh my God, he was a terror. Remember number 44? I don't remember what his name was.
I say 44. I know he can name him.
Yeah, exactly. He was a terror. You know, but you know, I've got to say that the best two that I've seen in this league were ours, Brett Bowers, and you remember Roosevelt Falls. You know, Roosevelt Falls was a beast. He had left us after a year, went up to the AFL and played in the AFL for a couple of years. But Roosevelt Falls was a beast. Now, the one that, and as usual, the position that gets the least fanfare and probably the least memories, offensive lineman, man.
It's the young man from Sioux City. Name starts with a G. The guy drove from Chicago to play in Sioux City every week. I'll get his name in a minute, but the guy's size was unbelievable, and they never had jersey. But you just weren't getting past it. I'll get his name in a minute.
Yeah, I don't, like I said, they've had some monsters, Sioux City.
Yeah.
Some moving walls that they've had up there, but I don't know any of them by name and stuff like that. And so we've talked about, we've talked about some of the great coaches in the league. How about some of your favorite franchises?
Well, I hate the fact that I dig the OLB. I really hate it. and the fact of the matter is,
why would you hate that?
I do know.
That's a Hall of Fame franchise.
Well,
in all of indoor football.
It's because they draw. If you watch those games, those seats are full. I mean, it's amazing. And I specifically remember 2017. They sold out the whole bottom full bottom bowl. There wasn't a seat for the bottom. And then weren't even great at that time. But when they made the United Bowl, that was something.
You know, that's one of the things. I think that might be, well, I know that's two cities that I never visited. One was Omaha. We never made it up there.
Mm-hmm.
And two was Sioux City. Didn't make it up there for a game.
Right.
You know, and I think we, losing out. I love the coaching was but their coaching was always tough in Amarillo because their fan base was so fervent. So Wichita, I liked it. Wichita was a pretty good fan base. Dodge.
I really wish they got the opportunity to play in their old stadium.
Which one?
They moved. They're going back to the old stadium before they moved over to Trust, where the Wichita Wild
I believe, what was that called? The Hoffman Center or the
Hoffman.
I remember. Yeah.
I really wanted to see that because they did the city.
They were Wichita's in my tribal jurisdiction. That's why I know those things.
Mm-hmm.
Because my tribe is right outside of Wichita, and so
right.
I always enjoyed going to Wichita because we'd stop at my tribe, and so many. What a great way of life, indoor football, right? What a great way of life to see so many, so many things. Salina, even though there wasn't a very big crowd, the crowd was passionate. Even though there was a very big crowd. And I'll tell you what, Herron is probably one of my favorite coaches because he was always tough to go up against in a couple of years. And I remember when he joined that Dodge City staff, I was like, hey, man, this is Herron, man. We got to beat him. We got to beat Herron, and because of his success that he's had in indoor football. One of my favorite coaches to compete against.
Well, I remember back in the IFL when he coached for the Colorado Ice.
Right, the Cross.
And when he died, let me tell you something. The reason why he has some of the best players because they like the hell out of him.
Yeah,
he's unbelievable. Football, and the guy picks up the phone and people are hardly in court. They know Coach O'Neill know that they're going to get what they want, which is an opportunity to play for a championship. So
yeah. And then you have the old guard like Coach Davis, who's been doing this a long time, fellow Oklahoman, and competing against him was pretty exciting. We competed in a couple of different leagues, and his teams were going to be well prepared. That's the one thing that you just I was hoping within that league that teams that went up against us knew to say, hey man, Coach B's going to have his team prepared.
Absolutely.
And you got to have to give your best effort, especially when you came to Albuquerque, man, because we kind of really loved our home advantage.
Absolutely. Starbuck comes in like I said. You want to talk about a guy that can adjust. That guy can adjust. Goes in at halftime, and he knows what's coming at him. It seems like every single time.
Right.
He makes those shots on fire. Really. Now, one of the best coaches, and give me a second. About Kayward.
He's gonna love that you gave him a shout out.
I love Matt Kayward.
Sonny, great visit. Thanks for coming on. We're
no problem.
We're trying out the software that you recommended for Champions Corner, and so it's
don't judge it based on my audio. There's something wrong with my stuff.
Right, and so we've got speaking of Champions Corner, we've got two champions. You can sit right here, Diego. Get your own mic.
Have a good one, Coach.
you know, we've got 2 champions in studio right now who we're going to interview, so continue to watch.
You bet.
And we've got 2 literally guys that have gotten the belt. And so, Sonny, keep watching. Thanks for coming, man. We're going to bring you on pretty soon, too, because you know how much I think about you, Sonny. So thanks for being here, brother. You know, I don't know. Things happen for a reason. You know what I'm saying? And we just got 2. How come none of our cameras are working?
No. This one works.
Huh?
This one works a lot better.
I don't want them both. I want them both to have their individual camera, though. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't want to share, you know, them sharing. Only because they both are royalty. They both are champions.
In your little back office and not this elaborate setup. This is quite a setup you have here.
Well, I sure appreciate it. You know, I called Diego champ. But, you know, if I say champ in the studio right now, 2 of you are going to answer at the same time, for crying out loud.
I'm not.
Welcome to the show, guys. Diego, man, love you. Thanks for coming on. I know you don't do these things a whole lot.
Not too much, you know. My time and my energy, you know.
Right.
I put it where I need to put it, you know. But it's always good to get out and talk and gain more experience, you know.
Well, we want you to. Here's the thing that we want, and champ, do us a favor. Introduce yourself for your so our fan base.
What's up, everyone? It's American Psycho Stefan Bonner here with my old roommate from season 1, the Nightmare Diego Sanchez. And if you're watching my wife, this is my wife, you're a bitch.
That's what you love when you get warriors on the show. Warriors aren't fearful to say what they're feeling. You know what I'm saying? That's why I love it. Like, when you get to the heart with Diego, man, Diego's not going to hold back. You know, he's going to believe in what he says, or he ain't going to say it, man. We talked a little bit about before you came on, man. You're really enjoying life right now.
Yeah, well, you told me, like, you know, how you hanging through the corona, and I'm like, man, you know, like, honestly, this has been the best 3 to 4 months of my life, it feels like. I know it shut everything down and everyone's life got like turned upside down, but the isolation, you know, man, I cleaned out the circles of people who might not have been so genuine, and just things have changed. Family has gotten really tight, really close. My important relationships, like, you know, and I was blessed with my fight in February, and so I've been able to take a break for the first time in 17 years in my career. No pressure of a fight. Take a break and, like, truly get to know myself, you know, and I've been enjoying this process.
It's a journey, right?
It is a journey.
And you know, there are parts of that journey we live and we love and hate. You know, and the whole purpose of is, you know, try to find a path that puts us on. What is it about you guys? And here's the thing that I always marveled about you guys. What is it that the makeup to go into your field? You know, what is it that makeup? You're coming down, you're being introduced, and you're coming down, you're going one-on-one with somebody that's, you know, what is it about that?
Nothing special. It's just survival instincts kick in. You know, if you take an ant and put it under some pressure, it's going to fight for its life. And it's kind of, you're in there fighting for your life in a way, you know, because to give up is to die. I know Diego looks at it the same way. So, you have that mentality. I think all beings have that, you know, and when they're put under the knife, most people are just too gripped by fear to put themselves under it.
And the makeup of it, in my opinion, is self-belief. Number one, you have to have self-belief. If you don't have self-belief, you ain't gonna do shit. Like, you gotta have self-belief. You have to know, like, anytime I get into a cage in an octagon, from the beginning to now, I know, I believe in myself. Like I don't care if a million people were against me and I was the only one. I know that I believe in myself because I have accomplished things that I wasn't supposed to do all throughout my high school wrestling career until Ultimate Fighter, and still in the longevity aspect of mixed martial arts and UFC. I'm still achieving legendary things that I'm not supposed to be able to do. So self-belief, confidence, and you gotta be a little fucked up to be a fighter. But
yeah, he actively seeks out the hardest stuff you could put yourself through, And I got sick of it after like a good run for like 14 years. He's been doing it 20 years now.
The guy, the longevity of both.
Yeah, it's amazing.
The longevity of both of you. 14.
But he's truly the last samurai of season 1. I always said I was gonna be, but
What was
you
that
wouldn't be
like?
a guy.
What was that like?
Truly.
Season 1, this is something new that
amazing.
came out. What was that experience like for both of you? You meet each other? Was it the first
Well,
time you met each other?
first of all, I'm a little young buck, man. I only been out of high school like 2 years, and I'm like on a mission, vision quest, like I'm crazy. Like I'm already crazy. I'm already in my own world, doing my yoga in the rain. Like I was already a little bit outside the box in the beginning. But me and Stefan, we got locked up in this house, man. It was like prison. They don't even give us a damn magazine. You don't even get a People magazine. You don't get nothing. You don't even get nothing to talk about. Like, you don't get a phone call. You don't get a TV. Oh, can we get a radio? No, you do not get a radio.
We had each other.
But could we get some beer or alcohol? Of course. The fridge is full. You got some wine. You got some this. You got some that.
Let me tell you a little story. Diego would tell us some pretty far out stories about being in the mountains. It may or may have not been under the influence of psychedelics, but seeing UFOs and having contact with extraterrestrials. But I thought he was crazy, completely nuts. And just recently, less than a year, I've been finding out he's all right, man. Dude, we were just talking about Phil Schneider. He gets clipped. He gets poisoned, and you don't get poisoned for because you're a quack just talking out of your ass. He was right.
Yeah, and if you're not looking up in the skies,
it's a crazy time.
Most people aren't looking up in the skies, but if you have patience,
it's all true.
If you have patience, I tell you, if you don't live in a city that's too bright, you go out by the mountains. You give it 10 minutes, and you got good eyesight, you're gonna see something.
But you guys are right here by the biggest underground base. One of the biggest underground bases in the world.
Yes, and so the activity here is more than other places.
Yeah.
For sure.
Because growing up Chicago area boy,
Okay. Are you from Chi-Town?
Yeah, that's where. Yeah. And we didn't believe in. We were taught UFOs were conspiracies. And, and he was pretty far out in season 1, so it just seemed logical.
So how many guys did they bring in, and did you guys have to apply or go somewhere? How many guys were in the house?
It was a long time ago.
It was 16 of us.
That was a long
It was
time
16
ago.
of us. It was 16. We're 16 men in a house. And it was.
What did you have for
3
breakfast,
months,
Diego?
12 weeks.
What did you have for
No
breakfast?
magazines even. 12 weeks. Can you believe? Alpha males locked in a house.
Wow.
See, he's avoiding the question.
Did everybody have a bed? Did everybody have
My breakfast was supplements back then. You remember?
No, today. Can you remember what you had for breakfast today? This is a test.
Of course. Usually I don't eat breakfast, so that's pretty easy. But today I had 5 lemons, 3 limes, 2 apples, 6 strawberries, and a bagel.
All right, not bad. See, I have the same thing every morning, so it's kind of cheating. It's like
but
not really a brain
but
test.
ultimately every day I usually don't eat. I usually will eat 1 meal a day, around 5, 4, 6 sometimes. Just depends, you know. But
I eat 1 meal a day too.
I just had a hell of
9
a
to
steak.
5. I just eat it from 9 to 5.
yeah, see, that's a good intermittent fasting. You want to also apply lemons into your diet. Lemons are amazing.
Well-
They will give you energy. They will give you a glow. They will cleanse your insides.
Or
amazing.
apple cider vinegar.
Yeah, that stuff's good too. But
Same
but
as
but,
how do you-
but apple cider vinegar doesn't have the same electricity that the actual fruit that has the light energy. The
Yeah, it's
How,
true.
how do you incorporate apple cider vinegar in your diet? Just
Man, just in the morning, I just have a little diluted with water, and it just really helps the bowels get cleansed, and it helps your body produce an alkaline response that puts
Yeah.
you in a state that's going to be less susceptible to diseases.
Yeah.
As Yogananda says, you get your body so healthy that it electrocutes the disease germs that try to answer.
I used to drink so much of
Enter.
that stuff when I was cutting weight. That was one of my
Yeah, it helps.
that was one of my go-tos. It helped
Water
me
retention.
help me cut weight. That stuff was good.
and so how do you incorporate? Like you put it in water, like you put your vinegar in your cup and a little bit of water, and you shoot
Yeah,
it
well,
down.
you get
You
the,
know,
the
I-
brag stuff with the mother and shake it up.
That's what I always forget the brags. You know what I would do? I would just keep one in my car and just slam it all the time. I would just take a slam. And like over time you get a little used to it, you know, but you want to have a little bit of water there so you after your drink it doesn't burn your
The
throat.
only book on my phone.
What is it?
Wow. Autobiography of a yoga.
Oh, nice.
Friday we're going to Hanuman Temple.
You know.
Okay.
Have you read the book?
Of course.
It's an amazing. It's the only one on the autobiography of
crazy.
Yogananda.
It's so far out that most people won't believe it.
Yeah. How do you incorporate the lemon in now? For everybody out there listening, because I want to incorporate some of that in what I do as I'm getting older. You know.
Lemon is amazing. I'm telling you, it comes from the sun. It looks like a little sun. You know, like this stuff is powerful. It will give you energy that like you feel, not like coffee, but very, very like a clean energy. It makes your body alkaline, and I just get on I juice them myself, and I drink the juice. Sometimes I put it in the water. You could do your like say this is your water bottle.
Right.
You know, you throw your lemon juice in there, but fresh squeeze every time because you want that fresh
Whole
fruit.
lemon, squeeze that whole lemon in there.
I do. I do like sometimes I do like 5, 6,
Oh, do you? Okay.
7. You know,
Whatever.
lemons aren't very expensive. You get the bag of them, but this is a kickstart to your day. You're gonna have good energy right when you start your day.
Good for your skin.
And when you do the lemon juice, it wakes you up. Like if you're ever tired and you're feeling tired, it's something about the taste
Really?
and the smell. So you taste it, you smell it, and it wakes you up. Yeah. So
Does it help?
You're like alert. It
people
makes
that
like
have diabetes. Does it help people?
You know what it really does is ionized water. Speaking of alkaline and then the energy from the sunlight, that's what ionized water does. It treats water with electricity. And your buddy back there who went to high school with the partner who runs the gym with me, my buddy Lakeem, sells Kangen machines, which are ionizers that do this. And I'm here selling real water. I don't know if I told you. Yeah, I hooked you up with real water in Vegas, so it's good.
Yeah.
It's ionized water,
Yeah,
and
no,
it's
it's
the
amazing.
water that has stable negative ions, what a Kangen machine does. But yeah, drink that. That's the best thing for diabetes. I mean, you don't have to buy real water. I mean, it's like drink out of the Kangen machine, but ionized water.
I've heard that people with diabetes that buy one of those machines has,
regulates
like
your blood
that
sugar.
liked it to where they didn't need their medicine anymore.
Wow. You know, one of the things that I don't know what you guys
He's
are
got
hanging
one.
out the man cave. He just got his Kangen machine, and I'm
Seems
super
awesome.
excited about it.
They've done a ton of research, and if you want to check out Google ERW water. electrolyzed reduced water. A lot of the studies have been done under that name. And then, of course, ionized alkalized water. Problem is, the term alkaline caught on, so these bullshit companies just spike up the pH and hustle people, you know?
And that's like the
It
water.
does
And
nothing
then,
for you.
and what they do is they put a chemical in there that spikes up the pH.
Bicarbonate.
So they it's like science, you know.
So that's what you
Yep.
see in stores. All these
Yes.
stores.
They're not lying. They're not
Except-
lying. They're not lying. The pH is high pH water, but they're not
It
telling
doesn't
you
have
that.
the negative ions. You see, all ionized water is also alkaline, but only the ionized term didn't catch on. The alkaline term caught on. Except real water is the only one with the stable negative ions. The inventor, that's our claim to fame. He found a way to stabilize those ions, and that's a secret. He doesn't give that secret out.
No way, really? Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
That's
how,
why.
how much has nutrition,
Right.
whether it be hydration, how much has it changed since both of you got into the business?
Well, dude, he's been pretty on point in terms of that back in '04 when we were in the house, you know, digging and
That
shit.
like, well, in the beginning, I didn't know so much, but over time, you know, I just learned, self-educated, trial and error. I just was doing
You,
it so
you knew
long.
a lot about supplements. You didn't know a lot about
I knew about supplements. See, I didn't know so much about the food. I didn't, because I'm from Burke. I really, honestly didn't know about it. We never had no asparagus at my house. You know, like Mama never bought no asparagus. That shit was too expensive for us. You know, so I was like, veggies are good. Randy Couture says eat the greens. You know, okay. So at that point, and at that point, I was like, Hickson Gracie had said that he ate meat before his fight. So like, I was like, I gotta eat meat before my fight. Like, you know, like, then you go through time, trial and error. You learn stuff. You have a new nutritionist, a new thing, this, that. One camp, I did kangaroo meat. And this stuff was amazing, man. I got super lean. I was like one of those little kangaroos. I was like, I turned into a kangaroo. I started eating kangaroo meat.
When I fought in Australia, man, we were cooking that in the room every night. Chili Dog brought his camping stove, man. It's so good. The kangaroo meat's so cheap too.
I think one of the things that is really, as a football coach,
good.
you know, one of the things that I saw in the last decade that really is coming to focus is recovery. You know, what have you guys found out or learned over the years, especially you guys, man, who have to train, who have to do the things that, you know, other athletes don't have to do? What has really changed as far as recovery?
For me, I went through a long period of yoga. Was a way that I stretched my body, breathed my body, and moved my body together. So that was a good start for me. Later, as I transitioned and I evolved as a human being, I learned new and different techniques, movements, training exercises, everything, you know, and it still continues to evolve as I learn.
How about you, Stefan?
Yep, yoga, man. Yoga's awesome. Ice baths, vegetable juice, and ionized water. Those are my 4 staples.
Intermittent fasting for me is the intermittent fasting, the alkaline water machine with intermittent fasting, and just portion control and not overeating, and, you know, being smart about my choices of what I do.
When you have a big fight coming up,
Meditation.
Okay.
Meditation is probably the biggest thing for recovery. I find myself
great point.
not sleeping as much
Great point.
because I don't really truly need as much sleep when I am meditating a lot.
Yeah, you're so right.
And so then I do,
Control
you know,
breathing.
the breathing exercises is a daily now for me, morning routine.
It's so
And
true.
I douse myself. I douse myself with this really cool. I got a bucket, cold water. I put in the freezer, and I douse my head with it in dirt, with my feet in dirt. So there's an electrical conduction happening where the toxicity and negative energy and toxic of my body goes back into the earth. So this is like high
really
level.
important. Oh, yeah.
This is high level. This high level, you know. But
Yeah, we cut
like I
our
said,
feet off from the soil.
as
It's so
I
important.
continue to evolve, I keep changing.
So important.
You two guys, when you have a big fight coming up, how long is a training camp usual? You have this fight. How long is a recovery time for you guys before you start gearing it up again for the next fight? Because I know I couldn't imagine what you guys go through. You know, how long would a training camp be? Would it be similar to boxing?
Everyone's different. Everyone's different. Now, guys, there's guys that stay in shape year round. There's guys that, they go up and down in weight and everything. You know, like I told you, I've been doing that my whole career for 17 years. So when coronavirus hit, all the gyms closed. It forced me to get a good rest. And of course, I'm like everybody else. Like I got little exercises that I do at home, but I'm not like trying hard. You know, you don't see me posting no videos of what kind of workouts I'm doing at home. Like I'm taking care of myself. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not really trying to like beat my body down in this time of rest in quarantine. You know, I'm trying to get my body, massaged. Take Epsom salt baths, hang upside down, do all of this meditation stuff,
Yes, body's so finely tuned you can't hold them down for 8 hours of sleep.
You look like you're lean and mean also, Steph.
Same thing, yeah. What he was talking about when his meditation practices are on point, your body, you need less sleep. I know. I feel this even right now. I'm here on this business trip, and we got a BNB together, and this dude fucking needs way more sleep than me. Sorry for cussing.
No, it's a podcast. You can fucking say
But
whatever.
man,
It's
a
a
good
podcast, so.
3 hours more sleep.
So what brings you to the boot game? What brings you here?
Man, I've been wanting to come here for a while. I've been wanting to visit that Hanuman temple in Taos. Got a buddy I grew up with going there, and to see Diego. And then, like I was talking about that ionized water in the Kangen machines and the product your partner sells. I sell and part owner of Real Water, and it's that's the only ionized, the stable negative ions I was talking about earlier. And it's so remarkably good for your health with proof, scientific studies, and well-reviewed medical journals that back it up. Like we're talking about from blood sugar to gout normalizing blood pressure, psoriasis. Just there's pretty much you name an organ, this stuff helps with it.
The listener out there that doesn't know, ionized water is a combination of ionized water and alkaline.
No, ionized water is going to be alkaline. So yeah, you just get any ionized water, whether it be Real Water or Kangen machine. A ton of that with lemon in the morning, and then intermittent fasting. I didn't touch on that, but you wake up and you put a ton of ionized water with lemon through your body before you have any food. That period from when you ate last to then, you are just doing so much good for cleansing your cells out and making your body incapable of catching the coronavirus.
Wow, that's
no, you know the water. If you can really get your hands on some good water. Water is
Source of all life.
It's
on the planet.
amazing. It's magical.
Water and sunlight.
We here at our you had mentioned, Stefan, coming in here going, man, I thought we were going to be on an iPhone and and go from there. Our sponsor here for our studio and podcast, obviously the grill. How was your steak? I love that.
I was going to ask you, is that your recipe, the nightmare? That was amazing. That was a hell of a steak, man.
It was. I'm a
so
steak
good.
guy, and it was,
so good.
I ate the whole thing. That thing was about 30 ounces.
I eat that whole thing too, like nothing.
You know how you've been coming here for years. You know how good.
I've been wanting to get the burger for so long.
I needed some good red meat. I'm a carnivore. Like I crave blood, but not in that sick way that we're hearing about with the deep state. But like good steaks. When I'd fight, at least like once, twice a week, I needed to have my red meat.
Especially the way you had it made. I mean, just looking at how you had it made and prepared, I'm thinking I'm going to do that.
Oh yeah, that's called the nightmare.
Yeah.
It's the best, man. It's
Yeah,
the
they
best.
look good.
Green
I was
chili and then
surprised-
the green
listen to
chili,
this.
then the cheese.
Yeah.
I let mine cool down just a little bit, and then the cheese gets a little harder. And
I'm getting
cherry.
hungry as we
So
talk.
good.
Our sponsor here, let's see if you guys have heard of what our sponsors. Our sponsor is Redux Molecules. Have you guys heard of Redux Molecules?
I've seen it up in here. This
Right.
is
Oh,
the
man, I was probably just-
AC cell signaling supplement.
It's
I was looking at that back there. It's how do you say it? ASEA?
ASEA. It's when I tell you it's the only company in the world that has it. They have right now the ASEA athletes. They have 2 present-day Olympic gold medalists, 4 championship triathletes. What it is our body produces Redux Molecules. That's what we're made of. You gotta get rolling. But it's really big, and I'd love to talk to you about that. In closing, guys, Diego, with as many accomplishments, I'll talk to you
Looks
about
like something you'd put liquor in to sneak in a
Exactly.
ball game.
It's funny. I'll tell you a funny story when we get off the air about it. I'll tell you a funny story. Diego,
Some aspiring comic.
you had many highs in your career. Coming off the top of your head, what's the highest?
If you see the container, it does.
I'm gonna give you some. I'm gonna give you some. I'm gonna give you both some.
Oh, so good.
Sodium.
You know what the highest one was? The highest one was fighting in Mexico City, and I was coming off some losses, 2 losses, and I fought this guy Marcin Held, and he was like 20, 25, 26.
I saw that one.
One of the top grapplers in the world. Very dangerous. Very, very dangerous. Tough, young shooting star. And I had to fight him in Mexico City. Yeah, this was one of my last fights at 155. I had to fight him in Mexico City. Highest altitude, worst pollution. And man, I tell you what, the crowd, the energy of those pyramids out there or something, like, I'm telling you, the crowd, the energy, my name being a Sanchez, they were behind me, like, it was real. It was like some real warrior shit. Like, Vegas never compared to that. Like, nothing ever compared to this. Like I had all these crazy Mexicans. Like, I felt like I was walking out with Aztec warriors, and like I was the Aztec warrior representing them, and like they're cheering, and the whole crowd, the whole arena saying, Diego. And like I'm getting live in there, man. I'm turning it up, and then. Last round, the his gas is running out, man. I beat it out of him. I beat his gas out of him.
I was gonna ask you, like, you train at altitude here, but that's higher. How did that affect your cardio there?
It was hard. It was
harder.
it was
You
definitely
noticed the difference,
it was
yeah.
because of the pollution too.
Yeah.
So it was like
Dirty air.
it wasn't good air. So it was a challenge. But the moment that was the greatest high was. I beat the living snot out of him to the bell. He couldn't get up, so I get up, and like they're like the whole crowd's going Sanchez, and like I'm just like this, and like the camera's on me, and this is when I get the moment, and I look down at him, and he can't get up. He's laying flat ass on his back, and like I look at him and I just go like this. Like on the camera, I'm just like, that's a kill. That's a kill.
Wow.
He ain't getting up. That's a finish. Like in my mind, but that and then the crowd. It was wow. That was the highest moment. No belt, no trophy. Just the Aztec energy was what put me over.
How about that? Stefan, same question to you.
Man, I don't remember. it's been beaten out of me. Sorry. It's a blur. I don't know, man.
In closing, what's the future for you guys, man? What's the future like? Where you talk about passionate about your island.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna do healthy. I don't really pay attention to this lockdown nonsense and all that, but the political world is in a crazy state, and I think we are on the bridge of a war. And if, maybe move back to the Midwest, because I think if you're on the coasts, you're, at the most risk. And it's scary. It's a scary time, and it makes you see how trivial the sports and the other things are compared to our freedom.
I'm doing the same. I'm building a property off the grid, other side of the mountain, and, out of the city. I'm gonna have places here and there, and I got 4 more fights in UFC, so I'm gonna do these last 4 in the mountains like Rocky. It's gonna be legendary, and I'm gonna keep this epic classic going.
He just keeps on going, boy. He's like that Energizer bunny that doesn't stop. Trying times, guys. You guys have a little bit of a platform in these trying times. Do you get involved? Do you not get involved?
How can't you? I mean, I can't help it but a little bit. But the message, it's so obvious. Anytime you come at anyone with hatred and violence, is going to fight back. It's called the old Corm memes, reaction, cause and effect. And what do you expect if you go at police and with all this hatred and violence, they have to fight back? And it's like sad that it's like obvious attempt to overthrow the government. It's got really biased news going on, and these agendas are being crammed down our throat. And I tell everyone, think for yourself, man. Look into all the conspiracy theories and see what's going on and make your own decision what's right.
That's very, very good advice. Thank you. That was perfect advice for everybody. They do, because they do need to do that. They do need to do their own research. They do need to search within themselves, within their intuition. Let the universe guide you a little bit. Don't be so afraid. Don't be so afraid of what you don't know. Like if you trust in God, you trust in the universe. Like it's a real thing. Like
the one infinite creator.
That's it.
Fuck it, I'll say it. Boom, said it, God.
Fellas, man, I sure appreciate you guys coming on and sharing, because you have a lot to share and a lot of people to learn, can learn. And people are looking nowadays, people are looking for the people that lead. You guys are warriors that are leaders and have accomplished so much, and I'm sure going to continue to accomplish as you move forward. Diego, we couldn't be more proud, of you. Speaking from our city, what our city feels about you and how much you're loved and everything. Stefan, man, I'm thrilled that you came out, bro. I didn't, when I said, hey, you want to come on a podcast, I thought, with that big old steak he had.
Hey, that's the kind of guy he is. He's my bro, and he's been the best friend out of all of the tough guys. Like I don't really talk to any of them. Like I'm cool with them, but this is the last guy.
Things won't change with
Warriors walk alone, brother. Warriors walk alone. Thanks, guys, man. You were amazing. For our listeners out there, man, doesn't get any better than that. Doesn't get any better than that. All right, champ. Good seeing you, man.
Got it, man.
All right, cool.
Stefan, man.
On the Facebook.
Yeah. Hey, do you have a business card?
And Instagram, Drink Real Water LV is the one we're using.
I'll put it in the description.
Both of
We're
them.
going to talk about that.
But yeah, Drink Real Water LV, we're building that one up. It's a
Thanks, fellas.
Thank you.
The champions that were on Champions Corner.
Yeah.
The champions that were on what show? Wow. Way to end the show.
I
Wow.
want to close out with that young lady that I showed you, that Rage Against the Machine. So we'll play that, and then we'll definitely shut this down.
We'll see you guys on Thursday. Enjoy this next piece. A-double-E some. Man, we got so many young talented people. Gives me optimism for the future. We'll see you guys, John. Great job today. We'll see
Thank
you
you.
on Thursday night.
Absolutely.
Maybe Sebastian will show up. Maybe he won't. You know, we had a pretty good show without him.
Oh yeah, no, it was a good one. Thank you very much. Enjoy it. Make sure you share out on your social media broadcasts, your platforms. Thank you. Good night.